extraordinary is that, as I mentioned before, we operate at the local level, but we also have a Rotary International that sits on top. And they have taken on the task of eradicating polio. And when they first started taking this on in the 1980s, polio was found in a number of continents and a number of countries. Well, today I'm happy to report that polio is only found in 3 countries around the world. And the cases each year, fortunately, are less than 100, which is really amazing given where we were in the 1950s with that disease. Another one is we take on education. We also take on clean water projects. In fact, our little club here in Wyckoff and Midland Park has engaged in 2 water projects over in Nigeria. We have helped put in wells and holding tanks that now serve almost 60,000 people in those 2 communities that until recently had no clean water. I mean, we are fortunate today on the table to have pitchers of water and glasses available to us. Can you imagine waking up in the morning and knowing you have to walk 3 to 5 miles each way just to be able to get a clean glass of water, which we take for granted? So it's these types of things. It's projects that we do locally, and it's projects that we can have far reach for. You may recall in November last year that the poor country of Nicaragua was struck twice by hurricanes within 2 weeks. We reached out to the Rotary Club in Nicaragua, found out what they were trying to do in terms of relief, and we were able to raise over $4,000 here to help purchase seed that would help over 100 families in Nicaragua replant, and then each family was committed to giving back 100 pounds of seeds that they ended up growing. So it's really incredible what a small collection of people here in Bergen County can accomplish worldwide. So whether we're trying to bring clean water to Nicaragua, or to Nigeria, or hurricane relief to Nicaragua, or a school down in Juarez, Mexico that we sponsor, it really, for me personally, is so fulfilling. And so if you're not familiar with Rotary, and you do have it open Thursday morning at 7:30 and you want a nice breakfast at the Brick House, we would encourage you to come and just try us out. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. We grow on you guys. So with that, I would love to have Peter Brannigan come up. One of the hallmarks of our club is the Gift of Life program, and Peter's going to take a couple of minutes just to introduce you to that subject.
So yeah, we just want to talk a few minutes about the Gift of Life, and excuse the accent, I'm sorry. Hopefully you can get most of it. So Gift of Life is actually heart operations that this district has done. It has actually done hundreds and hundreds of operations. I think it's about 1,200. Our club has sponsored 14. And what it is we bring a child or a young adult from another country where they have a limited lifespan. Almost certainly they're going to die probably by 10, 15, 20 years old at the most if they don't get surgery. So we bring them into the US, and we arrange a lot. Being Rotarians, we're like catalysts to make things happen. So what we do is we negotiate with the hospitals to only pay $6,000. I personally see some of the bills are sometimes $400,000, $500,000. We only pay $6,000. The surgeon gives his time for free, and a lot of them do a lot of surgeries. So they donate their time. The hospital just charges for the medicines, about $6,000. Rotary families, ourselves, our members, we host the family for a month, 2 months, 3 months. And we've done 14 of these in the last number of years. So the Platex, who are just moved down south, but are still an honorary member here at the moment, they did hosted 14 families. Tom Madigan hosted 4 families. And we ourselves run our 3rd family. We're getting a child to my hands. You've probably seen, hopefully, on social media. Help Us Help Hands. And we have a GoFundMe if you want to look that up and donate. We're very close to our $5,000 goal to kind of fund his trip. But he's coming to our family tomorrow night for a week. He's with the Klingons, Bob and Charlene Klingon at the moment. And then we get him for a week. And then he just was discharged a few days ago from hospital. So he was operated last Wednesday in the Cohen's Medical Center in Long Island by a Dr. Meyer. And I don't want to tell the story too much, but the last time he came in, it was determined that it was too dangerous and he was too risky and we couldn't operate and we had to send him home. That was the theory. But a second surgeon looked at it in Long Island. He said, I can do the operation, but it'll take 2 of them, and I'll commit to doing the second operation in a few years' time. So he called us a few months ago, and there's a lot of challenges getting this. I won't go into the details, but we had to get oxygen tanks for the flight. Because no airline would take him because of his oxygen levels. Anyway, yesterday I have a video posted on social media, please like it and follow it, of him playing in the maracas in the hospital with a guitarist that entertains the kids that are operated on. So go enjoy the video, and if you feel like donating, that'd be great. Because that's the best way to help us, is actually to like our stuff on social media. And if you can donate a few dollars, that's great, but especially get the word out so other people in your network can help all the great work we do. So Gift of Life is our favorite program. It makes it very real. We have an impact on life. You can see the child. He's actually going to be here next Thursday. If somebody wants to come back, we're going to have him at the meeting next Thursday. And he's doing great at the moment and recovering great. So that's Gift of Life, my favorite thing in Rotary.
I saw Hans last night. You would not believe that this young man had open heart surgery just a week ago. He was bouncing all along this deck that we were outside at. He just looks incredible. The science is just amazing, isn't it? I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. But we do have a sad note to share with you related to the Gift of Life. I don't know how many of you may recall that about a week and a half ago there was a glider accident up in Wurtsboro, New York, in which a 64-year-old man passed away. Well, unfortunately, that 64-year-old was our guardian angel. He was Dr. Con Wynn, who performed over 300 of the 1,200 surgeries that we had for the Gift of Life recipients. There will be a memorial for him on Saturday in Tenafly, and there will be some extraordinary things done by both St. Joe's and Westchester Memorial to recognize his amazing contribution, and we here at our club have already discussed doing something special for him. So I'd like to just take a brief moment of silence to just acknowledge his gifts, his generosity, his spirit for life, and everything he's meant for our Gift of Life program. Thank you. At this point, I'd like to bring up Ray. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, would all the Rotarians in the room please stand, please? You should be acknowledged. The one thing that you'll recognize by each of these individuals as they stand is that they are mature in age. So we could use a little bit more youth to support all of our programs. You know, they are extraordinary. They've been engaged for many years, but occasionally people decide to move out of the area, and so as each one of our Rotarian colleagues and friends departs, we lose a little bit of energy. And so I would encourage you, especially the young people, to get involved as you go off to college and you are looking for something to do on campus. Most colleges have Rotaract clubs. And the good news is if they don't, you can start one. And if you start one, we'll support you, I promise. So don't hesitate to come back. If you don't have a club, if you have a club, come back and tell us all about it. But please get involved. We can certainly use you to continue our mission of service above self. Ray, if I could ask you to come up to the podium. Ray's going to speak to us about a couple of programs.
Good morning, everyone. So in the last year plus, we've had a problem, of course, with COVID, and it cut dramatically into our fundraising capability. We had some of the big events we had with the triathlon in conjunction with the YMCA in town. And also we had the beefsteak dinner was canceled, so left us with a shortfall for programs like yours, all right? And so we implemented a few other things, and we're going forward with those, even though some of these other ones are going to hopefully come back soon. The beefsteak dinner is on for this year later on, and so that should be a big plus. But excuse me. So one of the things we do is we have a restaurant of the week, And now we've done it for about a year. It was a well-kept secret. It was really mostly for in the club, and we joined forces with the Ridgewood Club also, Rotary Club. And we had some very, very good restaurants, and we raised some nice money. An example is some of the restaurants we had was Three Cheekers, Banera's, The Barn, Blue Moon, It's Greek to Me, Fina's, The Pearl. We also had a couple retail organizations help us out. Abmas and Kilwins, not quite, they not quite restaurants, but they were good to us. So we would go there, we'd buy, and they'd buy something and give us a percentage of whatever we bought, okay? So this Tuesday night is Arturo's, so if anyone would like to go, you have to mention you with the Rotary, and they will donate money back to us. So, and as we get into it, Gina's going to talk about our IT program, how we get word out to you. If you could, everybody could sign up for that, which she will talk about, and follow us, and then help go to these restaurants and other things that support us. All right, and then we can continue doing this type of work.
Yep. Thanks, Ray. So as Ray mentioned, not only our organization, but obviously a lot of organizations were handicapped because of COVID-19 and the restrictions placed on us to do events. But several members of our club came together and came up with just an extraordinary fundraising activity that we started late last year. And I'd just like to bring Karen up to the microphone to explain what it was that we did last year and what we hope to do in grander fashion this year.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Karen Patton, and I'm a relatively new Rotarian. I joined the club last year. In COVID, I actually last year had a daughter graduate from IHA and was a Rotary Scholarship Award recipient, but there was no breakfast. And I have a son who is finishing sophomore year at Ramapo, and we live here in town. As Russ mentioned, last year, 3 of us came together with an idea to kind of bridge the fundraising gap in a really challenging time for our communities, and we came up with a Luminary Fundraiser for New Year's Eve, which was called Light Up the Night. It was entirely grassroots. We grew as we learned and sold kits. We ended up getting very lucky with a social media post gone viral through Ridgewood and sold 1,800 kits of 10 lights each. And the streets of Wyckoff, Ridgewood, Midland Park were lit up on New Year's Eve with 18,000 luminary bags filled with sand and candles, kind of signaling hope for a new year. After covering our costs, we netted $25,000, which we donated to the West Bergen Mental Health, the Wyckoff Love Fund, and the Midland Park Love Fund. I think I'm forgetting an organization or two in there, but $25,000 back to charity every dollar we raised. So this year, we are partnering with the Ridgewood Rotary Club. I'm the co-chair representing our club here, and our goal is to triple what we did last year and sell 5,400 kits and really make it spectacular in these same towns. So you will be hard-pressed to miss it on social media this year. Really encourage you to light up your streets, get your neighbors involved. Just imagine what we could do with $75,000 to donate to local charities and really light up our communities as we enter a new year. So thank you.
Thank you, Karen. And Karen is an example of somebody coming into our club with a fresh perspective, a lot of energy, and she's just done an extraordinary job. So thank you, Karen. At this point, I'd like to bring John Adams up, who's going to mention the RILA program. It's another example of how we support the youth in our communities. Thanks, John.
Good morning, everyone. My name's John Adams. I've been part of Rotary for almost 14 years, and I've been primarily working with the youth programs. And I got a whole host of them that we got going on here, but I'm going to mention just one. And some of our seniors might know about this program, but it's our leadership program for juniors in high school. And this is called RILA. It's the Rotary Youth Leadership Award. And anyways, I found a little history about it. About 25 years ago, there was a Rotarian from our Patterson, New Jersey club that went to a district in California and saw this great program called RILA. This is 25 years ago. And now, 24 years in running, we've been having this youth leadership program where we bring about 100 kids from all over northern New Jersey together. And it was together, actually, back then. This year's a little different, but the thing is the whole goal was to get our high school students that are at a very important point in their high school career where they're getting ready to do a big senior year and all the rest, but to really bring in the whole idea of leadership and what's possible. And this is a very unique program, and it really empowers the students to think much broader than just what they thought could be done. They really are empowered to do great things through this leadership program, and so we're very proud to support this over the years. Our club's been a big supporter of it. You know, we usually send about 12 kids. Unfortunately, it cuts back to 6, which is okay, and this year it's virtual. We hope never to have to do that again. I'm sure we're going to do some great things in virtual, but the whole thing is bringing the kids together, doing lots of hands-on activities. Team building is huge there, but it's something we give this as a gift. It's not inexpensive. About $500 a student it costs, but we give, as I say, every year about 12 of these out to students from our high schools, juniors to juniors. So anyways, got lots of great programs. If you want some more information, I got a little bit if you'd like to take it with you. Here you go, Russ.
Thank you, John. And the goal of RILA is pretty straightforward. We send some extraordinary children off to these programs, and we hope they're going to bring these ideas back to their Interact clubs, back to their schools, and really encourage their fellow students to take advantage of the new knowledge that they've gained. At this point, I'd love to bring Gina up. Gina is another example of a new member who has brought another skill set to us. As you can imagine, with a group of more mature individuals, social media is beyond our ability. Just straight out beyond our ability. So thank God for somebody young like Gina coming in with just amazing talent in this area, and she's going to talk about our effort. Thanks, Gina.
Good morning, everybody. And I appreciate being called young because I'm getting a lot of ma'ams lately, and I sold a love seat to a lovely young lady who just got her first apartment, and she said I was such a nice, sweet lady. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, thank you. So welcome, everybody, and I am so happy to be here. This is my first in-person event with Rotary. I started attending meetings online probably about 2 or 3 months ago, and I actually was drawn to Rotary because I used to be one of the students. I grew up in Wyckoff. I went to Eisenhower. I went to Ramapo. I was very involved in the Eisenhower Rotary Club. Very involved in the Ramapo Rotary Club, continued my dedication to service through college, law school. If anyone's thinking of going to law school, yeah, do it, but just talk to me, okay? If you don't have someone in your family to talk to. I won't say don't do it, but find a mentor. So now I'm very happy. I've moved back to town. I have my business in town. And it was time to bring service back into my life. So I found Rotary. I attended my first couple of meetings and just found it to be such an incredibly welcoming, amazing group of people, very like-minded in giving back to the community, the state, the country, the world, and I'm very happy to be here. Now, I know you all have phones. Take them out. I want you all to follow. I'm giving you permission to take them out. I want you all to follow Wyckoff Midland Park Rotary on Instagram and on Facebook. This is where you're going to get your information about everything that we're doing in town, all of our fundraisers, all of our community events. I've been posting in the different Facebook groups and things like that, and I've been getting nice little love notes that I'm posting too much. So if you want the most up-to-date information, please follow us, please share, like our posts. That's one of the biggest non-monetary ways that you can support our group that is giving back and supporting your families and your students, and we can't appreciate it enough. We are, as you said, we have a lot of the community initiatives. We're supporting local business with our restaurant fundraisers and our retail fundraisers. Those are all posted on our Instagram and our Facebook pages. So if you follow, you'll get the alerts every week and see where those are. And I've found it's a really nice excuse to remind me that maybe once a week I don't have to cook. and I can go and get some nice takeout or go out to eat. So please make sure, follow us, interact with us online. If you have any pictures from today, we would love for you to post them and tag us in those pictures as well. If anybody is thinking of attending a meeting, please don't hesitate. Like I said, it's really one of the most welcoming groups that I have attended a meeting for in quite some time, and we'd love to have you. So thank you.
Thank you, Gina. As I said, having both Karen and Gina join us recently during a period of great uncertainty has been so welcoming. They've been just extraordinary in terms of bringing a unique perspective, and we thank them for their efforts, as well as everybody else who's been a member of the club for not maybe quite as long as Ken, who's now, how many years, Ken? 53? 4? 57. Wow. I wish I could say that's as long as I've been born, but I'd be lying. So with that, you're welcome to go up for seconds, thirds, fourths if you already filled yourself a few times. And we're going to then have the students introduced. Gordon Stanley's going to take over. He is the chairman of our scholarship committee. He and his team do an extraordinary job. I also want to mention that one of the members of his staff, Robin Martin, is here. Robin, where are you? Please stand. I know the students know who she is because she's the one that sets up all the meetings. She's the one that had copied all the applications, made sure that we were where we needed to be at the right time. And so thank you for your effort. You do a great job each year, so we couldn't do it without you.